I'm Mona Radler. We're here at the Cooperative Extension Service. And you are?
I'm Alan Cordell.
And what do you do, Alan?
Okay, I'm one of the urban residential horticulturists here, and I usually assist those on phone calls as well as walk-in residents with their lawn and garden problems.
So if somebody comes in with an unidentifiable plant, you're the one to talk to?
I'm one of those, yes.
But you're saying that you have an herb garden, a special project out back, which is involved with?
The Florida Herb Society.
Okay.
And I'm Janet Gardner, the current president for 1995 and 96.
So you're the plot planner for all the live herbs out back?
Presently, yes.
Presently?
Yes.
And who are you?
I'm Gail Conray and Vice President of the Herbal Society, and I just come out here and help whenever I can.
So she plants the plants and you plant the fertilizer. Is that how it goes?
No, I plant plants too. You know, we all kind of grab what we can get and put it in the garden.
We're now out back in the garden. We're checking out the live stuff that this group has planted here. We're first at the coneflower, which is called an echinacea. Now, we have a lot of green and some faltering flowers. What would you use this plant for?
Okay, this, in the U.S. in the last few years, it's becoming more popular medicinally here, but for quite a number of years now, it's been very popular as one of the leading antivirulent and also immune system antioxidant, immune system enhancer type herbs. The roots are normally used on this plant. There are 9 species that we know of worldwide.
We now are next to the purple coneflower, and why do you have this yarrow growing here?
Okay, yarrow is another herb that's used medicinally, and it's one of the more temperate herbs. It was from Europe originally, in many places. I know up in the Smoky Mountains it's certainly escaped cultivation, where it has been used for some years. And in the First World War, it was used to help stop blood clotting.
Oh, neat.
And so it does have astringent properties to it to help sterilization of wounds and cuts.
Earlier you mentioned a mint, and we're right next to a spearmint, and I've never had such luck of beauty of being able to have this much mint. Do you trim it often, or how do you keep it this bushy? Because this is just gorgeous. But is this its growing season, or is it usually
it seems to grow year-round, and it really looks better and prefers it a little cooler. And that's another thing too. I just noticed when you sense the aroma of it, oftentimes it does not come true from seed. I've purchased seeds of this plant before, and if you plant 100 seed and you get 80% germination, maybe only 3% of those 80 will be worth keeping to have a pungent enough, really good oil in them.
What do you feel is better to use, first off, with culinary uses? Is it better to try to dry and harvest it, or would you consider using it fresh better?
I only use fresh.
Definitely fresh. You lose the essential oils in the drying process, and the essential oil is what actually is the potency of the herb.
So if somebody's having like digestive problems or something, and say spinach or maybe applesauce would help that, then it should be fresh, not something that's already been processed and sitting there on the table.
As a
or
first
anything.
Alternative, but if you have nothing, I guess that would be a second choice.
Well, because usually heat does activate the oils in the dry to process for what it is you're looking for, right?
Right.
All right. From the papaya tree, we have moved to a plant that's called comfrey. Each leaf in its own right, some have called it rabbit tobacco. Is there other common names for the comfrey?
There's an old-fashioned traditional name for this plant called knitbone. It has been used internally and externally, although at the moment this is one on the FDA's list that cannot be used certainly internally.
So it's an open market thing that the FDA is saying what is safe and what isn't.
Exactly. In this
So-
country, that's true.
Under your pretense, you would consider it an external application, not an internal application.
It has been used both ways, traditionally in the past and medicinally, yes.
So for the knit bone, where I got my information, it stated that they would wrap these leaves around broken arms.
Like a poultice or so, yes, that's true.
And that it would actually, like you said, knit the bones back together. My son hit a telephone pole one day, and he was bruised, couldn't move. I stuck 3 leaves on it, and you could see the leaves change as it actually created the drawing of the pain and the swelling out of the injury. This is a beautiful plant. The flowers are gorgeous. So if you're getting into herbs, you should learn how to process them and understand why. Like the dandelion or the nettle, they should be cooked and then used after the second cooking, just to get the allotins and the other ingredients out. Otherwise, if you took it all fresh, it could be dangerous for your health.
I think particularly in Florida, when there are so many wild plants that are poisonous, that people should not just go around munching off the foliage that they find in their yards, because it could be very toxic. That's why we have things like the Florida Herb Society, to learn more about the types of herbs that are good for your health.
We've done some simple culinary ones, a little bit of complicated medicinal ones. Now we're to one that we should all be highly aware of, because our children are playing where they shouldn't be playing. What is with this plant and what's the name?
All right, this is commonly called the angel's trumpet. When I was down in South America, primarily in the Amazon region in Peru, this is a very common hallucinogenic, one of the many that they have there, some related and some not. And these are used actually in ceremonious rituals.
So they would have the real truth of why they should use it, and the Americans that think they know how to use it are actually tempting fate.
That's true. The problems have been mostly with teenage peer pressures in this country here.
If you were going to clean out your system with all or any of those beautiful plants out there just because of, what would be your favorite plant or type of plant and herbs to go after? Say to calm, relax, invigorate at the same time. What would you use?
There are herbs that are naturally used and have been used traditionally for tranquilizers and sedatives. Catnip is one. Peppermint is another. The passion flower, valerian, has been.
Can it grow here?
Valerian can grow here. It's more of a temperate plant, though.
This is rosemary.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite herbs. This is a memory, well, it's called a memory herb, and it's really good for your memory. It's also good for female problems, and it tastes delicious in soups, things like that. It has a wonderful smell.
You know, it's a natural preservative like BHA,
Like
BHT, whatever that is. No, the chemical that they put in to preserve things. This is a natural preservative. It's also a stimulant. It helps grow hair. I mean, it's a beautiful plant. The wives' tale is if you have it growing in your garden, then you're the dominant one of the family.
I told you that.
And they would put the garlands around their heads for memory during exam and classes. Well, I thank you, Peter and Sue, for coming all the way to the Cooperative Extension Service in Largo with Alex, Janet, and Gail, and Mona. We hope you all will enjoy herbals and try to be prepared, because once you get started, it'll never end.